Greetings and God bless. I wanted to do a little piece about when people are playing mind games. And I didn't realize this was a thing. I'm a slow learner. And like I was talking in other videos about, there will be different ads posted online, serious inquiries only. And when the poster doesn't tell you anything really, the specifics, the essentials that you need to know, whether like the location of the rental or the job or whatever. And so people, they probably are getting a lot of people asking these basic questions. And I guess people are concerned about privacy, so they don't give you specifics. I actually think it's either people are lazy or they really don't want people to have the information. Why wouldn't people want the address of, let's say, a government building? It's very interesting. Like sometimes um, trying to access a government form or whatever, they don't have things clearly accessible. And in this age of high technology and whatnot. So something that gets to me, when somebody's like, if you're really serious, if, because I've been in this application process, uh, and so like for me, I'm like, full disclosure, let me give you 20 years of my life. I'll give you things that people wrote about me. I've got tons of references. And something that I'm noticing lately in my last, like, maybe month of corresponding with people is they don't tell me information. And they won't give me specifics. Definitely, they won't write anything down. And they want me to sign contracts before we even talk, uh, or they just want to talk. So there's nothing, no paper trail, it seems like. And yet they would want contracts, me to sign a contract, me to sign a lease. uh, and and I think either they're expecting everybody to be dumb, compliant, just to have no standards. That's what I'm realizing. So these, whether it's a business, whether it's a landlord or whatever, they want to have all the standards. They want you to live up to their standards of being trustworthy, of not having any questionable things in your background. So, but they're predators because they're not going to tell you anything about them. And it's more likely than not that they have stuff in their background that's questionable, that's unethical, that's probably criminal. And it's not criminal like selling drugs on the corner, it's criminal like breaking laws about whatever. Um, this is what I'm kind of piecing together in the past, like maybe week, because these places will say, like I keep on saying, serious inquiries only, but they won't tell you anything about themselves. So, how can you make a good decision about your life and matching up with somebody you have never don't know anything about? You just found them on the internet, and they just want you to sign your life away, pay them a bunch of money or whatever, and you are absolutely clueless. And I guess there's enough people that are desperate or just really trusting, that engage in this. And the thing is, like, that these places, they want super high standards, right? Why do they want super high standards? Because they're expecting somebody with absolutely no standards to participate. And the thing is, when somebody has absolutely no standards, you're not going to get the high caliber person. And I have high standards. I just like doing things well. Doing things that I'm good at well, doing things that I agree to do. Um, and Yeah, so I'm just finding people are playing games. And I think a lot of people who are, I don't know, investors or running things, starting their own little cool business, getting out of the rat race and exploiting the clueless little rats, because that's what I found in the organic farming world, the CSA world, the permaculture world. Um, is there's it's like this kind of, you know, like a soft type of human trafficking, looking for desperate people, who will pay money to work somewhere, or who will agree to, you know, like, just do whatever like be your little slave or something like that, because they don't have resources to be on their own. And, I like I have work experience in like corporations, and so there would be an orientation, and they would tell you about like legal rights stuff and what to do to file a complaint or something like that. And I was no expert in that, and I didn't really access those resources. But like, even if something is a small situation, even if you're hiring a maid or something like that, you do have like some type of agreement. um, you know just even if liability, like if they should slip and break their ankle or something like that, like any kind of reasonable person has some stuff set up. Okay, maybe not everybody, maybe not something small like hiring a gardener or something like that. But I'm talking about places that are engaging in significant amount of people coming and going. And so when you have a significant amount of people coming and going, you have your shingle up on Craigslist or whatever to engage in this exchange. I'm realizing that there's predators who are manipulating the gullible, and I've been gullible, and I probably still am. And so they try to guilt you, like, you should just ignore your questions, don't have any questions, do what I want you to do, invest your time and money and effort to come and see if we work out. So see if we work out in person before I even tell you anything about me. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've been looking at a bunch of different permaculture retreat homestead kind of places, and they don't really tell you much. And some don't even talk to you on the phone. They don't set up a video conference online, and they just want you to fill out forms, or kind of agree before you even know what's going on. And I've just always kind of just been trying to survive, and I hadn't really figured this out. And I think we deserve standards, even if you're going to be an entry level worker. The thing is, your life is at stake, and not just your life, but your kind of mental health. And when places are kind of exploitative, when they're, no, not kind of, when they're exploitative, that's toxic, that's abusive. And they're taking more than just your blood, sweat, and tears when it's abusive, exploitative, and um, toxic. And I noticed there's just more and more of that around, and I think a lot of people have um, maybe extricated themselves from the matrix, so they're not sticking around. Like the kind of good people who know how to give bad people, put the brakes on those bad people. Like they've opted out of this crappy system, and they're probably living in Mexico or something like that. But so then there's those of us who don't really know how to handle it. We're like left behind, and we don't have the tools that the more capable people that are in Mexico or wherever. We don't really know how to handle this. And so the predators have kind of, I feel like they've grown exponentially. And and we're kind of defenseless. And I'm noticing, like, these people who want you to sign your life away, do a lease for a year, or move to their remote location in the middle of nowhere so you'll be their slave for however long. um like uh like, they have no conscience. These people have no conscience. They have no sense of fairness or karma even. And so we have to be discerning. We have to be on guard because these people certainly are not looking out for our best interests. And I'm beginning to wonder, like, I'm thinking these people feel entitled. I'm like, and I just thought it was like a few bad apples that I encountered, but because it's like a lot of the people in the organic farm sustainability permaculture gig world, like they're not very nice people. Like they really don't necessarily have integrity. Oh yeah, they may be vegan or vegetarian or something like that, or all up on your pronouns, or critical race theory and stuff like that. But in terms of like humanity and decency, like outside of virtue signaling, like, I don't think that's a priority. And so, and that's what I find so disturbing about current identity politics, like where it's May 2022 right now, and basic, like being able to breathe, being able to retain your own genetic um, DNA, your original perfect in pedigree DNA, or your basic safety at work, mental health at work. That's irrelevant to people. All people seem to be concerned about is the pronouns and making sure white people feel guilty, and um, just virtue signaling about climate change. It's very strange, and it's really upside down because if I've had this one way conversation when I encounter folks who are up on this whole identity politics kind of a thing. I'm like, if anybody who's in the identity poster child of the moment, if they had $1 million trillion, if money was no object and they had 10 mansions and a million Mercedes or something like that, would they be pushing their identity politics? Would they be like, oh, so and so is oppressed and so needs to be represented more? If everybody was a millionaire? No. And when I've posed this to these identity politics activists, they don't respond, uh, and I think it's because they have no answer. And what I'm trying to say is it's classism, it's lack of resources, and I don't believe in Marxism. I don't believe in taking away resources from other people. And you know what? If all the obstruction of healthy commerce, if all the weird inappropriate, excessive licensing and regulation, and I don't even know it all. But if all of that was removed, if all the poisoning of the food, water, air was stopped, if people had their health, and if the social engineering that's been going on, whether it's the internet or city design, make things pedestrian friendly rather than everything about cars. Like if we had more of a healthy um, culture, things would be like people would naturally find jobs and gigs that worked for them, and they would heal from addictions and stuff like that. But no, nobody's doing anything about that. Everybody's just ensuring that the AMA and the FDA and everybody has their cake and their pie and their ice cream, and at the to the disadvantage of regular folks who are just trying to survive, and nobody cares about an ordinary human being. um it just seems like, I mean, okay, there are some people, there's a handful of people that care about ordinary people, but they're not that vocal. And you know I don't know what to say, but anyways, I just noticed that there's predators who are playing head games, and it's really evil. And where are the good people? Where are the good guys? Like where are the really good guys that aren't playing games, that aren't trying to exploit and abuse, or who are like not accidentally. I mean, if that's possible, because there's some people. I think they're like, well, I didn't mean to, like harm this person. So then, then we communicate. Then we try to, bring things up, and if that other person does make adjustments, then okay, they didn't mean it. But most of the time, I mean, all I'm noticing, and of course I'm speaking in broad strokes because I'm doing a YouTube video, but like it does seem like there's this greater disparity between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. And it like 20, 30 years ago, people were saying this was going to happen, and I was like, nah, nah, oh my gosh, it totally has happened. I mean, just look at major cities where the only people who can afford to live in any like nice area, it's the poor people that have been on Section 8 forever, and then it's the rich millionaires who just make enough or have investments that they're able to afford these insane rents for mansions. And I mean, if you look at like rentals in San Francisco, even though it looks like a lot of areas are like shut down and there's you know, wood in the windows and graffiti and stuff like that. Like, even though it looks like it's kind of abandoned, no, the rents are really high. And, I think there's just so many rackets. I think there's so much corruption that this world has been operating off of. And I didn't, I opted out of a lot of things because things were too complicated and too stressful. So I didn't really participate. But I'm beginning to wonder if everybody is like writing off their rent or mortgage as some sort of tax thing. And that's how they're able to have many homes and travel and buy all sorts of things and maintain families and cars and stuff like that, because I just don't understand how people spend so much money. So anyways, I just wanted to say, if somebody is gaslighting you, and just from the very ad that they're posting on Craigslist, like, serious responses only when they're not telling you anything, you know, um, they're playing a game. They're playing a head game, and they're doing a manipulation tactic. I didn't know that this was it, and maybe they all take the same class, excuse me, or are ruled by the same demon. But um, like, don't feel guilty. That's what I'm trying to say. Is you get to have standards. You deserve to be dealt with honestly. You deserve them to be transparent, for them to be accountable. And a lot of places just like they haven't done it, and nobody's held them to it. It seems. And so we're just we have to do it. And I think it's good to definitely avoid toxic, abusive, exploitative situations. It's really good to avoid predators. And unfortunately, it seems like predators are what's the majority that's out there. It's either predators and cowards, and not a lot of integrity, not a lot of people with courage and like a good head on their shoulders, just not a lot of common sense. And it seems like people are in this, I'm going to get mine. I've got to do whatever I got to do to take care of my family, and to hell with the rest of everybody else. And so that's the world we find ourselves in. Um, so, anyways, I've been having a little bit of a headache. So sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. It's like there's this really bright light, unfortunately, that it's like this blazing, burning light that the camera turns on when I'm doing a live. So, yeah, what are your suggestions about dealing with predatory people who are, they're trying to lure gullible people, trying to lure. And the thing is, these predators, they want good, honest, reliable, responsible people. So the predators are luring good people, honest people, reliable people. Of course, they're getting some that are not so great. But of course, they want the good, reliable, honest person. Why? because that good, reliable, honest person is going to deliver. It's going to be productive for the predator. So the predator wants to surround themselves with these good people that they can manipulate. And, like how to handle like I would say avoid the predator at all costs. And I think boycott these predators, like shame on them, because nobody's doing anything about it. So, and just where are the good apples? That's my question, is like, where are they? Like, I mean, they must need somebody to rent their place, or, work on their project or something like that. Like, um, they just seem kind of hard to find. So if you have any suggestions about how to find good collaborations, please post it in the comments below. And yeah, like these predators are just they're smart and they're mean because they want to get everything out of you, but they don't want to give you anything, and they want to make you feel bad for expecting anything. Like they don't want you to expect any information. They don't want you to expect proper compensation. They don't want you to expect dignity and basic human rights. And that's really wrong. That's wrong. Predators, but the predators don't know it. They don't care. And those around the predators, they get hypnotized and brainwashed, and they start to believe, like the predators do, like, well, you don't deserve anything because, well, you're poor, or you're ugly, or you don't deserve it because you're a jerk or something like that. You spoke too sharply, you're too honest, you have too much high standards. No, because other people get to have accountability, other people get honesty in the workplace, other people get transparency, other people get compensation. And these bottom dwelling predators, they want good people, reliable people, responsible people for nothing. They want to find these gems, these saints, and suck them dry. Because that's the thing. These bottom dwelling predators, they're killers. They're destructive. They break people. They suck the life out of people. And they're killers. They're not killers necessarily with a gun or a knife or something like that, but they suck the life out of somebody and discard that person, and then that person spends the next 20 years trying to heal. So like you got to do your due diligence and take care of what you're exposing yourself to. And I think it's important. I mean, I'm calling out predators now. Like they waste my time. Like instead of trying, like they're saying, don't waste my time. Be a serious inquiry. And there would be moments I'm like, yeah, this is the place, I'm gonna go there. And then they don't tell me stuff. And then they're like vague. And so then I'm like, I'm not serious. If you're gonna play games with me, how can I mean, what's going on here? And it's crazy making. So I guess, when something, a big commitment comes up and the person is crazy making, or the situation is crazy making, that's a sign. And I'm talking to myself really as much as I'm talking to this computer and to you. Like, if something is making you kind of crazy, if something is making you have to fill in the blanks, and well, maybe that's why, maybe they're doing it because of that. No, not especially when, it's like this on-site living kind of situation, or yeah, like whether it's a rental or, uh, you know, volunteer work exchange kind of a thing, or whatever. So anyways, I've gone on long enough. Thanks for listening. God bless.